They went down into some dark, deep stuff and worked through some stuff, and they witnessed each other. So a level of trust is built, a level of compassion, and celebrating each other along the way. It's a beautiful journey to watch unfold because sisterhood, it's so vital.
What's different about us and the community that we're building is that the women in the room, we're oscillating energetically forward together. Yep. We're cheering each other on. We're like, you fucking rock that.
Absolutely.
You're amazing. And I'm attracting more and more women like that in my life. Hey, I'm Lisa. This is Real Money. Forget the spreadsheets for a minute. Money is emotional first, and that's where real change begins. Today, we're talking about the emotions of money. We're in a new studio testing it out for the first time. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
This is my dear friend and sister, Melissa Blynn. And Melissa, your last episode from last year, maybe 2 years, it was actually 2 years ago, I think.
No.
It was
October of last year, actually.
It was literally a year ago. Your episode is one of our most listened to and shared episodes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's that powerful. The work that we're doing is that powerful. We've got a great episode in store for you. Melissa's here live with me in my new studio.
So
yes.
High five.
High five. And we're going to talk about emotions and money today. We have some great events and collaborations that we've been doing. Our whole vision is to give women permission to feel, give women permission to enjoy their bodies. And what we realized, it really clicked for me in our last retreat, that it's about expanding our capacity. And that when we give women permission to expand their capacity, and you and I have been doing this on our own, in our own way and doing our own work.
Oh, yeah.
We thrive. We allow more. We hold on to more. We attract the love. We attract the money. We attract everything that it is that we want in our lives. So we're here to talk to you specifically about why that's so important. So buckle up. You ready to get started?
Let's jump in.
Okay, so we've got some segments for you this episode. One, we're going to talk about the female paradigm when it comes to money and how we need to break out of the male paradigm 100%. Of money. The second thing we're going to talk about is the nervous system, our nervous system as it relates to attracting wealth and becoming wealthy. The next thing we're going to talk about is vulnerability as our superpower. Brene Brown talks about that.
Yeah, baby.
But what does that really mean and how do we embody vulnerability? And then breaking generational patterns. This is huge work that we're all doing as women today. So we're going to talk about that. There's so many things in this episode for you here, and it's built in segments. So you can come back and forth into these different segments. And we want you to do that. And I want you to think about right now, a woman in your life, a sister, a friend, your mom, whoever it is. I want you to think about that person right now. And then I want you to share this episode with them. I want you to consider listening to this episode with them, pausing it where you need to pause it. So then you can reflect and have intentional conversation together because it's in the sisterhood and in the community of life.
Absolutely.
That we heal.
1000%.
And we have some incredible women in our world. They listen to my podcast episode and then they send it out to everybody. You have to listen to this. And sharing's caring, especially when it comes to this topic, women and money, because money is so triggering. Oh, it's so triggering. So Melissa's amazing. You can go back and rewatch the last episode that we had together. You can learn all about her. Her information's in the show notes. And so let's just get to it.
Let's jump in.
All right. We just are on the heels of Take the Lead, which was a powerful day, full day yesterday.
Yeah.
You brought so much to that. That is the first time anyone from the Take the Lead experience has experienced you. And they were all like, wow.
I can be a little much in all the right ways.
Yeah. I think you're that wake up call.
Yeah.
For me, bringing the Take the Lead essence, talking about money is that it's time for us to do things differently when it comes to money. What are your takeaways from the event and why is that so important?
Well, I think one of the beautiful things about Take the Lead is we had a wide variety of demographic in the room, age, right? Women as young as in their 20s and women all the way up into their late 50s and 60s. So I think one of the beautiful things is that it was a wide variety of different demographics and different age groups in the room. And what I loved about that is that we had, elders speaking, wise women speaking. And, we had obviously, I believe her name was Camilla, who, was one of our last speakers who stripped down into her underwear and bra and talked a lot about vulnerability. I think it was beautiful because not only was the room a very wide variety, so were the speakers. And I think whether you were 25 or whether you were 65 in that room, I believe that it was powerful because each speaker resonated with each demographic that was in that room.
Yeah.
And that was really powerful, I think, for me seeing that because it was relatable for a lot of women that were there.
For all women of all backgrounds, women of all cultures, women of all financial statuses.
Absolutely.
Bringing them together. Your message yesterday, which is exactly what this episode is about, is that the world that we want to live in and the world that we're designing doesn't exist in our heads. It doesn't exist in the logical way. And when I say money is emotional before mathematical, it's triggering a lot of guys in the world. I'm getting messages on LinkedIn and guys are feeling really challenged by that because they're like, what do you mean? It can't be emotional. You can't make emotional decisions with money. And I'm saying there's no way not to.
Exactly.
There's no way not to. And the feminine way of doing things, fill us in. What are the feminine ways of doing things?
Well, we've talked about this on many podcasts. We've done, I think this is our third now, but feminine qualities, mature feminine qualities is we have a sixth sense. We have this intuition, have a capacity to be the nurturer, the capacity to be the giver, the caretaker. We love, we nurture, we care. And when it comes to money, and particularly for women, it is emotional decision. Some women, that's, this, and you've done a really good job of debunking shame around whether if women are shopping for filling that emotional gap. I mean, in my 20s, I was driving cars I shouldn't have been driving and buying clothes that didn't financially have the money to. And it was because on the outside, I was trying to portray somebody that I wasn't, because on the inside I was dying. And so for women, we are very deeply, deeply felt sense. And when we're disconnected from that, we can make choices and decisions out of survival, our logic thinking survival, and it can actually disconnect us even more from our authentic selves, our hearts. And so it's definitely deeply connected. And for women who are really empowered, and we talked a little bit about this yesterday, is that when we are in touch with ourselves, not our logic thinking, and we're connected and we're aligned with our values, what is important? What is my vision for my life? What do I want for my life? And what's ultimately important? We can make so much more aligned, informed decisions from that when we're really clear on that and we feel confident in that.
Can't we say that men benefit from the same work?
1000%.
Here's what I think when it comes to more of the same, and that we can't afford to have more of the same, is that we have a whole lot of men walking around with dysregulated nervous systems, calling it logical, but what it really is egotistical.
Yeah, absolutely.
And massive egos connected to money, and that we have to work with money from that place. Unhealed, egotistical, more is better, bigger is better. It's hurting all of us.
1000%. I'm very fortunate, and we have a very large network of friends that share. Rhiannon from Steelhead, owner of Steelhead, this company here in Las Vegas. I've known her for a good 15 years now. And I was telling my fiance last night, what I love about her is that she's very humble and she's very generous. And I love that about her. And not to negate men or to talk down about men, but when we talk about a lot of men, there's kind of what I talked about earlier is men use money for power. If I have, all these material things, or I'm flashy and I'm very presentable and I'm, buying a new Rolex a month or whatever, right? A lot of that is from their ego, attempting to live up to a false identity to get loved, and attention.
When I think of old paradigm masculinity when it comes to money, is the 50-year-old man driving a Corvette with the top down, positioning himself. And Jimmy and I watch a lot of nature shows.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like that bird.
Oh, yeah.
That's doing everything it can do to get the woman.
Woo, let's pluck our feathers.
The world has changed so much. And women, it's not our fault. And if you look back 7 generations of women and decisions for so long, up until not even 100 years ago, women couldn't do anything with money but spend it.
Yeah.
We couldn't invest. We couldn't buy businesses and grow. And women still, there's such a big disparity financially with what women own and what men own. is we have to create a new identity as women, which is more than just spending money, which is more than just budgeting, which is more than just taking care of the kids. It is this mature woman who doesn't need all that song and dance. And guys are like, I don't know what to do here, because that worked 50 years ago.
Totally.
I used to buy the car and have the Rolex and the nice clothes. And women, we still want some of those things.
True story.
Yeah. I want a guy who has his shit together. That's very attractive that my husband does. And that's not what's getting the woman and keeping the woman anymore. It's more than just that superficial stuff.
That's right.
Security means something totally different today than it did 100 years ago.
Very different. Very
for
different.
women. And security was interchanged with the word control.
Yes.
And it still is.
Yes.
For so many women and men.
Yeah. That was money, a big part of why I was in a relationship. We've talked about this on past podcasts. I mean, I witnessed so much control in my family dynamic between my mom and my stepdad with money. And I remember even after I got married very young, 18, divorced at 20. And I remember my ex-husband looking at me and he was like, you will never amount to anything. I paid for everything. Now, granted, I worked. I contributed to the household. But I remember when I got divorced, I had this innate like, fuck you inside. And I hyper masculated up and I was like, I don't need a man. And then I went out and bought my first house at 21 all by myself. Dang. And I remember like, I would not let men come close to me. I was hustling and working. And I was like, I had this like, I have to prove kind of mentality for all that reason of control. And even still to this day, it's a visceral reaction for me, even in my body. If that is ever presented to me which I'm very fortunate, my partner's not like that. And we have many conversations about money because thanks to you and the work that you and I've done, I'm like, oh, we're talking about it. We're talking about it because it's like we're equal and I got to stay at the table and I'm contributing and I have every right to say, and I plan on it.
Yeah. And I know your man is private, so I'm not going to spill the beans on all the things, but that was challenging for him initially because he wasn't used to a woman being like that with him.
No.
And I think that that's what we're seeing in divorce rates right now is women are standing up and stepping into our power. And then we don't need the guy financially.
Exactly.
And we're going, wait a minute, you suck. I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't like the way that you treat me. Yeah. I don't have to deal with this anymore.
Exactly.
And I've been dealing with it, again, generations. I've been putting up with this shit. My mom's been putting up with this shit. My grandma had to put up with this shit.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No. And I do believe that that's one of the reasons that we're seeing divorce rates so dramatic right now is women are going, fuck this shit. I don't want to be treated like this anymore. Yeah. And I don't have to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
So back to the earlier segment on no more of the same. This is all happening real time for all of us.
Yes. Yes.
Gen Z is in a different conversation about it, but millennial and older millennial and Gen X is like, yeah, we're changing things.
Absolutely.
We're changing things.
Well, and even not to interrupt you, but even in the conversation yesterday, like one of the things when you put a statistic, I think it was 3% of women own
there's only 3% of women are recipients of venture capitalism. Venture capital.
That's wild to me. It's like wild to me. I went last night after the Take the Lead and I was at dinner with my partner. I was talking about it and I was sharing when he's like, what is that vision for you? Like, what is that bigger vision for your life? And the biggest thing that came out was, I want to be so financially educated and secure that when I'm older, I have the financial means to be taken care of if something happens to me.
Yeah.
Because I love my partner and I'm sure he would do anything to care for me, but that's not his fucking job. He will, but I also need to be very responsible. And this is why I love what we do, because it's like we talk about at our retreats. It's like, ladies, yes, great having a great guy and a great partner, but you have a responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in same-sex partnerships, this applies.
Yes.
But because of our patterning, we're going to talk about generational patterns later in the show, but because of our patterning, women, even in same-sex marriages, are one's relying or looking to the other to take care of her or financially. I see this happen all the time. One of them is doing the work of taking on that masculine role. And I see it in same-sex marriages with men or relationships with men. So this doesn't just apply to the masculine, feminine. This is across the board. How did we become who we became?
Exactly.
In relationship as it relates to money? And then also, to your point, why is it someone else's job to take care of you? And this conversation has been blown wide open with the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Huge.
And the point of view and the beliefs of him
Huge.
About women relying on men
Huge.
For financial security.
Huge.
And I know that our conversation with money is interruptive of some very traditional values.
That's right.
And to your point, that's exactly what we need to be talking about.
Exactly. Right, yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's just be real, color outside the box. That's where you grow.
There you go. And I've seen just so many examples and so many stories of women who've said, yeah, I've been in an abusive relationship. I've been financially abused. There is a such thing as financial abuse, by the way.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be physical. Just because someone isn't verbally abusing you.
That's right.
Or just because someone isn't physically harming you.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that there isn't dis-ease and disconnection and power play.
That's right.
In the works.
Yep.
Because
absolutely.
If you don't own your own money, and this is why I also believe that Dave Ramsey is very damaging.
Yeah, totally.
Because his whole entire tribe talks about how the woman and the man should have joint accounts and all of their money should be commingled and all of that. And no,
thank you.
See your face.
Seem unlike,
see your face.
Energetically, not happening. Not happening. Not happening.
It's okay to have your own.
Yes, please.
It's more than okay.
Absolutely.
Which is why we're building the empires that we're building. Okay. We're going to move on, though. I think that's clear on where we stand and where we believe the future of money is for women. And now we need to talk about the work that gets to happen.
Yes.
So if you're a woman listening to this, or a man, whoever it is, whoever you are that's listening right now or watching this right now, we have work to do, realizing that our old paradigm of money has come from an unhealed space.
Yes.
And when people's nervous systems are unhealed and not grounded, think Wolf on Wall Street when it comes to money. Someone asked me this question. Well, what happens when someone isn't healed or someone isn't grounded and they make a lot of money? I said the worst possible scenarios. Hello, Epstein files.
Absolutely.
Hello, P. Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, what we're seeing on people are like, oh my God, how does this happen? Because we got a whole lot of unhealed people walking around with a whole lot of fucking money, making decisions that just seem absolutely nuts. So let's talk about the nervous system, because we're calling you forward in this episode to start learning about the actual steps that you can take to start healing yourself first. It is your job. In my book, I talk about radical responsibility. It is your job to start. You can't go fix someone else if you can't heal yourself. What is the intimate role that our nervous system plays with money?
The easiest thing I can tell you is it's connected to your choices and your beliefs. Yeah. So from a nervous system perspective, fight, flight, freeze, fawn. These are 4 survival strategies that each and every one of us have. Now we need these strategies. And the reason why we need these strategies is because if this building were to catch on fire right now, our brain is going to immediately shuttle blood to the amygdala saying, yo, get out. And blood and cortisol are going to go to our major extremities to get us out of the building because we are in a legitimate threat. Okay. And so when we talk about fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, rage or anger, right? We talked about power and control. When an individual's nervous system is in one of those four states. Okay. So when I talk about states, think of body down. This is a state. When my state physiologically, if it's defaulting to one of those 4, and there's a lot of, and we'll get to a couple examples, my cognitive thinking becomes distorted. And I talked about this in the retreat yesterday, is that when you are in a dysregulated state, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, your ability to make a logic informed, aligned decision becomes hyperly distorted.
Meaning you're not regulated, therefore you're not making decisions that are sound.
Correct. And they are not in alignment from your heart. They're not.
Gotcha.
And the reason why that is because the prefrontal cortex part of our brain that is responsible for logic and reason, that can rationalize, that could be open. We think of, so from a nervous system perspective, it's called ventral vagal. And when your ventral vagal part of your system, that means that you are calm, you are open, you're curious, you have the ability to discern and ask informative questions. So you're connected and you're present, really. And so when you do that, I like to use the analogy of like, I can go, my body is slow. I can think about it. I could take a pause. I can reflect on it and I'm connected to it. And I might have the ability to ask more curious questions. But if you're in one of those 4 states, and we see this with money, and I could share my example of how I lived with money for most of my life, definitely in the fight and flee 100%. It's the prefrontal cortex part of your brain goes temporarily offline. And when it goes temporarily offline, your memory consolidation also goes offline. And all of that blood that's responsible, that's normally shuttled to that part of the brain, it's being redistributed to your arms and your legs, your heart, and your lungs for blood flow and oxygen. Wild.
People are living in a state of fight or flight when it comes to your money. That also sounds a lot like scarcity and fear running the show.
Yes, or control and anger.
Control and anger, which also feels very stressful.
It is stressful to the body.
Which also feels like you're waking up at 2:00 in the morning and you don't know why your heart is racing.
Exactly. And your mind can't quiet.
Which also means that even when you have money, you don't feel safe.
1000%.
Or when you have money, you feel chaotic or overwhelmed or confused, which also means that when you don't have money, it's exacerbated.
Mm-hmm.
That all feels very stressful.
You've talked about this on podcasts before, and you've even worked with some women. Financially, you look at the spreadsheet and the numbers and like cash flow, and they're golden, right? You're like, okay, they're going good, but like on the inside, like
on edge,
they're fucking on edge.
Doesn't matter what the numbers are.
No matter what the numbers are. So I love what we do because it's so much deeper than the spreadsheet, because there's something underneath that state that is registering, I am not safe. The shoe's going to fall off the other foot. Something catastrophic is going to happen. Or we talk about freeze or fawn, right? Freeze. When we look at it from a money perspective, this is where we have avoidance, never wanting to look, don't want to talk about the numbers, don't want to look at the number. This is pure full on shutdown and avoidant. And so they never want to talk about money and they don't even want to look at it. So it's the nervous system is almost in a state of freeze and they're completely disassociated.
This makes so much sense. This makes so much sense. And these are the cues for you listening of when you say, what is going on? Because I can't, no matter what I do, I just keep coming back to this state when it comes to my money.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to take a short break.
Yep.
And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what we can do about it. We're going to talk about what we can do about it. So just stick with us. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back. And we're going to talk about when it comes to nervous system regulation, what you can do to regulate your nervous system so that you can feel better when it comes to money, so that you can have more and different when it comes to money.
Yeah, baby.
We'll be right back. Hey, it's Lisa, and I'm here with my sister and dear friend, Melissa Blynn, and we want to talk to you about an opportunity for you to figure out how to be with money in a feminine way. So we have a retreat coming up, and it's actually July 2026. So we're ways out from it, but we want you to know about it now so that you can start thinking about why you would be there. We want you there. So Melissa, talk to me about Unleash Your Capacity.
Well, when we talk about the word capacity is we all have a glass ceiling. And in the work that you and I do, glass ceiling via nervous system, glass ceiling with the amount of financial abundance that you can hold or receive or believe that you're worthy of holding and receiving.
That's so good.
We all have a threshold.
We all have a threshold. What's yours? We want you there. Unleash Your Capacity, July 2026. We want you there. Melissa and I will be there.
Join us.
Join us. All right, we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
Let's do it.
Fight, fight, or flee. There's a lot of fight, flight, or freeze.
Or fawn.
Or fawn, which is basically a doormat. You're just done. We all have the tendency to do this. This isn't like there is There is not one person on the planet that's walking around completely healed.
No.
This is a journey.
Yeah.
And there's not really one perfect archetype of someone where you can look at them and go, oh my God, they are whole and complete when it comes to money. I don't know one person.
I don't either.
And I've talked to hundreds and thousands of people, but there are some people who have complete or more healed nervous systems.
Yes.
Therefore, their relationship with money is different. Therefore, they operate differently about their lives. And when women come to us, they say, I want freedom.
Yep.
I want peace.
Yep.
I want security. Newsflash to all of you. None of that exists in your bank account.
No, never.
Broke is not a number. Rich is not a number. What you really want, it's not $10 million in the bank. What you really want is to feel safe.
Yes.
And so doing the nervous system work that you do, first explain the ways that you do that with your clients, and then give us some tips on where someone can start.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things is, our nervous system has familiarity and patterning in all different areas of our life. Our relationship to money, our relationship to friends or other women, our relationship to men or women, our relationship in business. And so what's important is that our nervous system has different patterning in different areas of our lives. And one of the things is that a lot of women, when they start to come to me, for the most part, I'm starting to get a lot of women that are, in the perimenopausal, menopausal journey. And we kind of talked about this in our last episode.
Yep.
Is, women in their early 40s, they're coming and all of a sudden it's like, shit, I'm not happy. I'm not in my truth. I have anxiety. I have no idea how to manage my money. It's almost as if they are in this quickening, like quicksand, and a lot of things are happening quickly, and their bodies are not as resilient as they were in their 20s and 30s because the hormonal stuff, the hormones are shifting. And so what I'm seeing is that women, when that's happening, a lot more anxiety, a lot more panic attack, a lot more hyper dysregulation all the time. And so what's important is for any woman that's watching this, I always tell women, whether they work with me or not, like, just be aware of, like, what are your sensations when you go to sit to do your bills? What do you notice in your body when you maybe go to have a conversation with your spouse or your husband about money? What do you notice? Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel like almost like you have a frog in your throat and it almost feels like it's a little challenging to get it out and you feel stuck almost? Again, that's like that freeze state and you can't communicate about it. Or for women, are you overworking or over hustling and scheduling back-to-back meetings and overloading your schedule? That was me because I was always in anxious mode, always in anxious. Are you, when you go to do your bills, are you hyper analyzing your numbers for hours and you're scratching your head, right?
Or do you have to have a glass of wine before you look at the numbers?
Totally.
In order to even just do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the first thing is just be curious of how your body, a system is operating. And for those of you that are like, I never look at my checkbook or I never look at my money, afraid to, or like, it's this elephant in the room and I never want to look at it. Let's have compassion for you because there's a lot of shame and guilt that's associated with there, which is why the nervous system collapses and doesn't want to go there. Be aware of where your state, as we talked about in the last segment, where are you oscillating from? That's the first place to lean into curiosity, is where do you predominantly find your body when it comes to your relationship with your money? That's the first thing.
Okay, so check in.
The
sensations, the physical sensations that you have are there for a reason.
Yes.
I learned about in the medical system, I was outraged by this. There was an interview with Katie Couric and a doctor. What's the doctor's name? I sent it to you.
What was the topic?
It was about the WWs in medicine.
Oh, yeah. I believe I think it was Dr. Marie Claire, I believe.
Dr. Marie Claire. And that there are women and they're called different things across the country, depending on the different medical system you're in. They call them WWs, which is a whiny white woman. And that hit me. And I know women of color are definitely even less listened to less than white women in the medical system. But the fact that you don't feel good, your heart's beating fast, you're dysregulated, you have anxiety.
Yeah.
It's because your your body has been working overtime to manage all of these emotions and all of this backlog, and it's not regulated. And then we go to the doctor and we say, we don't feel good. And then they're like, oh, it's just perimenopause. Oh, it's just menopause. Oh, it's just the change. Oh, you're just being whiny.
Talking about it. Actually, today is 10/10. So this is World Mental Health Day. And in a recent study this year, 40% of women in perimenopausal are diagnosed with depression. 40% are diagnosed with depression. So again, your internal state is a huge alarm. Something is not right. And it's so crucial that we educate women and give them tools and strategies.
That's what we're doing.
It's so vital. Because they're going into doctors and doctors are like, hey, you're depressed. Here's a pill. Here's a pill.
Here's a pill. Lots of pills too.
A lot of them.
Horror stories of women who have just been over prescribed medications. And I know you're working on the more plant medicine side of things with women. Okay, so first is state. Hi, Cricket.
Hi, Cricket. First is state. Get a dog. They co-regulate you.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Are you here to regulate us, Cricket?
My dog's, if you're listening to this, my dog's in the studio and she just can't get enough of Melissa.
She loves Auntie. You love Auntie Missy.
Okay. So, and then you have this beautiful handout, and also Melissa and I have a gift for you. So we have some workshops coming up called
the Capacity Lab, doing 4 of them.
We're doing 4 capacity labs building up to the Unleash Your Capacity retreat. And in the Capacity Lab, we want to teach you these things real time. We have a gift for you. Look for it in the show notes. It's a mini training. It's a step in that direction. So if you want to know more about how you can get to work on your own nervous system, have grace and compassion with yourself, and find other women who are doing this too. Find other women in our world. That has been a game changer. You and I get to do what we get to do, and we love what we do so much. And then getting back into your own life, you're going to need sisters, and you're going to need support, and you're going to need sisters who get it, and they want to do this work with you.
Absolutely.
The Capacity Lab is a perfect place for you to come learn from us real time. We want to teach you the steps. Awareness is the first step. But then Melissa teaches about somatically how to drop into your body, which may or may not feel safe for you right now, how to get enough sleep, how to make sure you're not crazy. And then maybe take the next step with us and come to the retreat and spend 4 days. There's lots of ways for you to start this work in our world, and we want you to do that.
And the gift that we have for you, it's basically, it's called Survival to Safety. And Lisa and I curated it together. When we talk about survival is, again, back to if my state is in a state of survival, which is either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, no matter how much money I have in my bank account, if I don't feel safe in my system first, by all means, money it's the next step. But we're teaching feel safe so you can take the next step into feeling safe with your money, which ultimately leads to a bigger capacity to hold more. So vital.
So vital. $10 is more. $100 is more.
It is.
$1,000 is more.
I've learned a lot with you. You've taught me a lot.
More incrementally, more. You have to build your nervous system into safety first in order to have more. So if you have big, big dreams, and speaking to my dreamers specifically, you have these really big dreams, you'll sabotage yourself every step along the way if you don't have the capacity to hold more.
That's right.
Because if you can't hold $1,000 in your bank account or in your business checking account, which has been me in my journey before, then how are you ever going to receive and hold on to millions? So that's the question for you is, let's do this work together and let's check in on your nervous system. Because if you have internal safety, you have everything.
That's right.
And then when it comes to external safety, when you are the one to provide for yourself financially, no one's coming to save you. And you have your own money, you have your own resources, you have your own savings, you have your own retirement account. To your point, yes, your significant other will be there for you, but financially they don't have to lift the load so heavy. And men are tired.
Totally.
Men have been
burned too.
Absolutely.
Men have been burned too.
Oh, I just heard a horror story about this from someone that I know who, the guy married someone and she took him for everything he was worth. So this does, guys, we hear you. We know this happens for you too. We're just starting with where we're experts right now, which it is with women, but we get it. We hear you. We see you. We know this is happening for men too. We're going to talk about breaking generational patterns.
Yep, here we go.
I'm so passionate about this.
Me too.
Okay, first thing, my book, Stop Budgeting, Start Living. We do a deep dive into this. So if you're looking for somewhere to start there with looking at what is your financial set point. Generational patterns with money is one thing. What are generational patterns that show up in our nervous system?
Oh, wow. Scarcity, fear, for sure. So easily the first thing that comes to my mind is if I had a mother, which is real time, who didn't trust men, which is real time, and had me, her daughter, didn't trust men. Imprinting 0 to 7 literally told me, don't ever trust men. They all lie. Adolescent, teenage years, which we talk about and deal with. Make sure you hide your bills from a man. Hide it. Tuck it away. I laugh about it because it's wild. It's wild.
It's not funny when you're going through it, though.
No, it's not. And it's just, I can laugh about it now because I've done a lot of work around it, a lot of healing, and a lot of breaking that story and breaking that nervous system patterning. And so from a nervous system patterning, if that was how my mother felt, which it was, that feeling contributed to the stories and her beliefs, mind, that she would tell me. And so if those two imprinting and an adolescent, I was choosing men that I wasn't safe with, and I would hide money and hide credit cards.
It sounds like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
1,000%. It was. Legitimately was.
I believe this. My mom taught me how to believe this. Now, first of all, we're not blaming anybody here. We're not blaming your mom. No. She did the best that she could do with the resources that she had available to her.
Totally.
But she then passed this on to you generationally.
Yep.
And it was a fact.
Yes.
Because kids believe what we're told.
Yes.
And then we behave in a way.
Yes.
That makes that true.
Yes.
So we're just trying to be right.
Yes. Which led to married and divorced real young, as I mentioned.
Before 20.
Yeah. And I've worked for I can look back. I worked probably 3 to 4 jobs ever since I was 18 years old. I would work at the time. I remember I shared this publicly. I worked at a bank, but on the weekends I was a stripper, and it was I need to do more. I need to do more. I was hustle was my middle name. And it was just that constant, I need more. I need to grind. I need more. So I learned 3 or 4 jobs, and that was success. So how that showed up in my nervous system is I was always anxious, hardly slept, drank a lot of Red Bull, drank a lot of caffeine, would sit down with the 2-3 glasses of wine to do my bills, hyper-analyzing those bills, thinking of all the things. I mean, it was just this whole snowball effect. And when I look back and zoom out of that, my nervous system and my ancestral patterning, the women that came before me, I believe, had no idea how to manage money. And I believe to be true that the women that came before me did not have a voice, and they didn't feel safe in that voice. And so I'm so passionate about this work is because when women start to advocate for themselves in financial arenas and other arenas, it's the most liberating thing for me because it's so important. Yeah. So it is definitely ancestral. And for me, the breaking point was my parents aren't the problem. I'm the fucking problem. I filed bankruptcy at 25 years old, 26 years old, because I chose a man, hyper masculine, who needed me to rescue him. I paid all the bills. I took a second out on the house. He won't leave me. I'll take care of him. 6 years in, resentment like a mofo. I had an affair. And then there was bankruptcy. And it was at that point, it was I'm the problem. And that was a real big part of my journey of when I started to get real about money, my money journey.
I was having this conversation with someone last night after the event about how everything changes when we take radical responsibility.
Everything.
Which isn't the same as blame.
Exactly.
When we can recognize the pattern, and I have a money coaching certification. I'm teaching this real time to my students. When we can recognize the pattern, we can honor that about our history. We can realize it wasn't our fault, and then also work actively to interrupt the pattern. Yeah. And when we heal our generational history, whether we have children or not. We heal that part of that pattern and that generational history, and we heal it for the generations
Absolutely.
after us.
Absolutely.
And we heal our ancestors. So if, I don't know how woo-woo you are, but I'm super woo-woo, and I believe that our ancestors didn't go anywhere. They're right here cheering us on. How I choose to believe, how beautiful is it that my great-grandmother and my grandmother are cheering me on, saying,
hell yeah,
yes, you are the one.
Yeah.
Yes, you are the one.
That's right. That's
to
right.
heal this. You were the strong one.
That's right.
You get to do this work for my son and for his children and for generations before us. So this work matters in so many ways, not just for yourself. But let's start with you.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think you've talked about this before. Even if you were raised in a family environment where there was a lot of money and there was resources financially,
Absolutely.
right? Mm-hmm. It's a very different.
Yeah.
Whether you came from, in my example, stories about men and money don't go together, old, outdated, or a lot of wealth or so forth. Like each generational line is designed to break and shift and change because this is evolution.
Yes. And that we're evolving into a new world.
We are evolving into a new world.
And what worked 30 years ago, regardless of where you came from, isn't going to work the same moving forward.
No.
Because we've changed.
That's right.
And AI is changing us.
That's right.
And the world is changing. And so it's time for us to step up and level up. And instead of saying this is the way it's always been done, challenge who you're being, recognize and realize who you've become and why you've become that person, and do the work.
Yes.
So that you elevate and evolve.
Yes.
Financially, women, we get to do that.
Yes, we do.
We're going to talk about sisterhood and community.
Yeah.
When women are together, we co-regulate or we co-dysregulate. Let's be honest.
Let's keep it real, Lisa.
Drop the shirt. Drop the mic. It's the shirt that says, that's a horrible idea. What time?
Yeah.
I've got stories of tequila in my 20s.
Oh, it's so good.
We can be dysregulated together.
Yeah.
And my husband and I were listening to a sermon over the weekend, last weekend, which was beautiful, which was basically choose who you're going to be in relationship with men and women.
Yeah.
And find women. Yeah. So this is what we're doing is find women where it's not the only thing that you do is sit around and complain about your husbands or complain about other people or bitch about your life or bitch about your boss or bitch about your career. That's lower level energetics in play. You learn that from someone. You learn that from somewhere. In my household growing up, that happened. And I just said, I don't want to be like that anymore.
Yeah.
And so what's different, and I noticed this at the Take the Lead event yesterday, what's different about us and the community that we're building is that the women in the room, we're oscillating energetically forward together. Yeah. We're cheering each other on. We're like, you fucking rocked that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're amazing.
Absolutely.
And I'm attracting more and more women like that in my life. Why is that so important when it comes to our nervous systems?
It's huge. The word that's coming to me right now is energy leaks. So here's why it's important, right? So again, when we think of a faucet leaking, right? When we talk about energy, our bodies are energy, right? Yeah. Capacity, what we're talking about. If I were to hold your cup of water right now, and if that was metaphorically like my physical body, and if I have girlfriends or friends that are always calling me and emotionally dumping their stank, got the visual? My water cup is going to go fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller. So if outside sources are emotionally dumping, again, think of a visible line. My mentor, Anahata in Sedona, it's like ingrained in me, is like, this is an invisible line. And if you don't ask for permission to, hey, do you have space to talk about this? And it's negative or gossipy about other women, that water cup, your body, you're filling it up full of someone else's stank. Mm-hmm. And how can you hold more wealth? How can you hold more love and intimacy? How in the hell can you go out and advocate more of what you want when you ain't got no room because you're holding everybody else's stank, right? So I love that you're bringing this up because it's so important because your energy has a value. And when we hold space, it's a value and it's important. And when we are in sisterhood, how we use our energy in those environments matter. And one of the things that's important, it's a lot of work that I do with women. Leslie, who's in particular, you met her yesterday. She was a client of mine, I believe, going to come to Capacity Lab. Like, she's been like really doing a really good job of like, I'm no longer responding. And yesterday at Take the Lead, she was like, I had 26 text messages from girls just dumping.
Oh my God.
I'm like, are you kidding? And
Wow.
she's like, I didn't even respond. So she's learning, but it was a learned behavior. Her value, she believed, was if I am there for everybody else and I give them feedback and I listen to their stank, I'm worthy and I'm valuable.
Which stems from a belief of I'm not worthy.
1000%. And so in Sisterhood, we believe that both can coexist because perfect doesn't exist. But when we're in the work, we have mentors. We have paid mentors. We have paid therapists and coaches of our own. And we make sure that we have space for each other. And if we know that a sister is overwhelmed or has a lot going on, we are very respectful not to just dump. And we're mindful of that. And so that's why I love Sisterhood, because as we evolve and as we elevate, that's the consciousness is we need to support women that hold a lot, but we don't need to be adding on to that. Does that make sense?
Which also speaks into the fact that we are responsible and totally capable of managing our own shit.
Which leads to self-trust.
Trust. Absolutely.
Yep.
When you trust yourself, it takes time. It's a journey. I'm going to be 46 next month. It's a journey. Yeah. It takes time. And I trust myself.
Yeah.
Where if I'm having a day, I don't call my girlfriend to dump on her.
Yeah.
Or my mom.
Yep.
Or my sister.
Yep.
I take a day.
That's right.
And actually, I don't even dump on my husband anymore.
Yeah.
I just take a day.
Yeah.
And I rest and I meditate and I walk. And if after a couple of days I still feel it, that's what we call self-sourcing.
That's right.
And as coaches, we're teaching our clients how to self-source. They don't always like it.
They really don't.
Not always fun. But also as coaches, we're teaching our clients, don't come and dump on me.
Yeah.
Let's teach you how to self-source. And self-soothe. And do some healing on your own.
That's right.
And take care of yourself and drink some water and take your vitamin and say no. And build a sisterhood of women who get that and honor it and love that about you.
Yes.
And it will be the sisterhood that heals the world. I have no doubt about it.
I agree.
And it's a healed sisterhood.
I agree.
A healed sisterhood. And I think this is a perfect way to end the show.
Yeah.
To be in gratitude to you and your sisterhood and the amazing women that we are surrounding ourselves by.
Totally.
Who get this too.
Yeah.
And and it's really fun. It's been the most fun for me is experiencing the women who came to Unleash Your Capacity 2 years ago.
Or Big Magic.
It was Big Magic. And that they are becoming their own sisterhood.
Oh, it's fantastic. Like, I'm going to Stevie Nicks tomorrow and like Kim, Michelle. I'm like, there are 4 of them and they're becoming like lifelong friends.
Yeah. And so we get to give it away.
Yes.
And we want you to be a part of this.
Yes.
We want you to be a part of this community, this conversation. So we want you at Unleash Your Capacity.
We do. We want you.
We want you there. And to get you there, we have the Capacity Lab that's coming up. We have 4 dates. The information's in the show notes. From there, we want to talk to you and support you in making a decision to join us. The retreat is in July of next year. The website's live. It's in the show notes. You can go and read more about it. It's in San Clemente, California, which is absolutely beautiful, which is at Christina Hand's studio, Hands to Wellness Collective, which is absolutely gorgeous. There's no place like it in Southern California. This is work that you get to do with us. You get to do with yourself. You get to do with other women.
I think the other thing is it kind of circling back to how we heal in sisterhood. A lot of women, when we start to witness each other and we're witnessed in some of the toughest or darkest places. And then by day 2, day 3, we're shifting and the energy's changing. They see what's possible. And then that's where possibility starts to come in. And then that's what really binds them and locks them into it is they went down into some dark, deep stuff and worked through some stuff and they witnessed each other. So a level of trust is built, a level of compassion and celebrating each other along the way. So it's a beautiful journey to watch unfold because sisterhood, it's so vital.
It is vital. It's vital to love. Love is the universal language. And we see this with children when they are not loved, many of them die.
Yeah.
It is the most universal language, and it is one of our most basic needs. So come and learn with us in a safe environment, in a loving environment. Heal yourself, heal in sisterhood. We want you on this journey with us. So thank you for being here today, Melissa.
Always.
I love you.
I love you too. We're doing it again. I'm so excited.
We're doing it again. We're doing it again, and we'll be doing it again and again and again.
We sold out last year. Let's do it again.
Yeah, we sure did. Thanks for being here on the Real Money Podcast today. I'm Lisa Chastain, your host. And remember that money is emotional before it's mathematical. Have the courage to dig into the emotions. Have the courage to lean in and have important conversations. Have the courage to heal. And Melissa and I will see you in the Capacity Lab and at Unleash Your Capacity. See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Boom.